in bankruptcy say, by the way, we'll handle your accident case too. Our lawyers handle only one thing and one thing only, whether it's personal injury or workers' compensation, and we never charge by the hour. So if you win big, we win big. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
LA is the city that made me who I am, so I've always jumped at the opportunity to serve. When the Department of Water and Power was in crisis, I cut billions in debt. When the LAPD was in turmoil, I reformed the department and cut crime 30%. And when USC was reeling, I demanded accountability. I'm running for mayor because I love LA. Starting day one, we're gonna get it cleaned up and we're gonna do it together.
Every day, KTLA 5 reports to you to all of South.
This is not just about abortion, this is about health care.
Right now at 5, the battle over abortion rights in America. A leaked draft opinion reveals the Supreme Court could move to overturn Roe v. Wade, sparking protests and celebrations.
It is an unfortunate incident, and again, it's just something that I don't think anybody foresaw.
Mayhem in Rancho Cucamonga. A downdraft caused by a landing sheriff's helicopter tosses a bounce house into the air with a child inside.
This was one of the safest neighborhoods that we know now.
A chilling crime shakes up a Beverly Hills neighborhood. Mass thieves ransack a family's home while the victims were still inside. Detectives now combing for clues to catch the culprits before they strike again. The news at 5 starts right now.
This is the KTLA 5 News at 5. I'm Cher Calvin.
And I'm Paige Rivera. Thank you for joining us. We know a lot of the attention right now is in Washington, so let's get right to it. Abortion rights protesters are rallying here in Southern California and across the nation as the Supreme Court appears ready to strike down Roe v. Wade.
That's right. The uproar comes after someone leaked a draft document indicating the High Court would overturn the landmark ruling, which has stood for nearly half a century. Our team coverage starts with Chip Yost in the city of Orange. Chip.
Yeah, Pedro and Cher, today the Supreme Court's Chief Justice confirmed that that leaked document was authentic. He called the leak egregious and promised an investigation. Meanwhile, both sides of the abortion debate, after hearing the news, showed up on the Supreme Court steps. The leak of a Supreme Court draft decision to Politico was a bombshell. Roe was egregiously wrong from the start, wrote Justice Samuel Alito of the 1973 Roe v. Wade decision that essentially made abortion a constitutional right. Politico says 5 conservative justices support overturning Roe and Planned Parenthood versus Casey, another abortion rights case. The draft says, "We hold that Roe and Casey must be overruled. The Constitution makes no reference to abortion, and no such right is implicitly protected by any constitutional provision. It is time to heed the Constitution and return the issue of abortion to the people's elected representatives."
This is shocking. To see this kind of leak is almost mind-boggling.
Lawrence Rosenthal is a professor of law at Chapman University's Fowler School of Law and a former Supreme Court clerk.
Anytime you compromise confidentiality, it damages the institution. Now, there will be lots of questions raised in the court. Who should have access to these draft opinions?
This lawless action should be investigated and punished to the fullest extent possible.
While Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said that on the Senate floor, President Biden talked about the implications if the ruling is finalized.
It concerns me a great deal that we're going to, after 50 years, decide a woman does not have a right to choose. But even more, equally as profound is the rationale used. And it would mean that every other decision relating to the notion of privacy is thrown into question.
And Chip, we're seeing that there's a lot of theories out there about who might have leaked this information. What are you hearing?
Well, you know, what's interesting in that, you know, we've got two sides of the abortion debate. Well, now we've got two sides on who the leaker is, and it kind of falls along those lines. On one side, you had Mitch McConnell pretty much say he believed it was someone on the liberal side of the court, maybe one of the clerks on the liberal side of the court, leaking it to put pressure on the justices to change their mind, kind of mob rule he brought up in one of his comments, I believe. Then on the other side, there is some speculation that maybe it was someone on the conservative side for the complete opposite reason, that they wanted to kind of steal the justices, that is, make them firm in their commitment to rule this way once the ruling comes out. Because remember, this is a draft. Those drafts go back and forth between the justices. Sometimes they can change their opinions as the drafts go back and forth. So the other theory is that some conservative clerk may have leaked it, or someone on the conservative side to try to get the justices on the conservative side to kind of hold the line and vote the way they said they were going to vote in that first draft.
All right, Chip Yost reporting for us live tonight and continuing our coverage in downtown L.A. A reproductive rights rally is being held outside the federal courthouse. Sky 5 is over the scene as crowds have started to gather.
Yeah, rallies like this are being held across the country, and KTLA's Lauren Liz